Hello guys, this one is for medical students and fellow medical practitioners. How to identify the differences between cholelithiasis, cholecystitis, choledocholithiasis, and cholangitis in 1 minute. If you pass 1 minute, you will still watch out. Today I'm going to be telling us of a story called The Journey of a Stone. It is a very interesting one. Stay with me. As we all know, this is the liver, and bile is produced primarily in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. Now, this is where the journey of a stone starts. If a stone is found in the gallbladder, it is called what? Cholelithiasis. Lithiasis simply means formation of stone, chole in the gallbladder. Now, depending on the size of this stone, if it is a small stone, it can dislodge, get into the cystic duct and filter into the duodenum and get evacuated from the body. However, depending on the size of the stone, like I said, if the stone is large and changes its place of temporary residence, find its way to this place, it is then called what? Remember, this is the cystic duct. Now, if this stone is found in the cystic duct, the name changes from what? Cholelithiasis to what? Cholecystitis. Why cystitis? Remember, anything ending with itis is inflammation, right? If bile is supposed to be secreted from this place, after you have eaten fatty or oily food, and it is blocked, over a period of time, what happens? Inflammation. And what is the marker for inflammation? Fever, regional pain, and increase in temperature. So that is why on an ultrasound, what do you see? You see there's increase in diameter of the wall of the gallbladder. That is cholecystitis. Now, what are the symptoms you would see? Of course, you would see fever, jaundice, because bile equally contains bilirubin, and when bilirubin cannot be evacuated from the gallbladder, it can cause jaundice. In addition, pain. Pain why? Because of the spasmic movement or because of the peristaltic contraction, it can cause a colicky pain. So that is what we call cholecystitis. Now, if this stone manages to get dislodged from here into this place is called what? A common bile duct. Remember, the name of a common bile duct in Latin is called ductus choledicus. So, what then do you get? Choledocholithiasis. Now, lithiasis is back. Stone formation. We are in the ductus choledicus. When stone forms in the ductus choledicus, you get choledocholithiasis. Now, you want to ask, what are the symptoms? Yet again, you're going to see fever, pain, particularly jaundice. Now, when you do your test, what are you going to see? You're going to see increase ALP, increase GGT. Why? Because these are markers for obstruction. Everything coming out of the liver and the gallbladder has been blocked, so the markers for obstruction are going to increase. Next, if this stone stays here for too long, what then can happen? Bacteria can join the party. Now, when bacteria joins the party, it becomes what? Cholangitis, inflammation of this whole tree. And that is what we call acute cholangitis. What is acute cholangitis? It simply means when the biliary tree is inflamed. Now, I want to tell us about two phenomena. There's what they call the Charcot's triad. What is Charcot's triad? Charcot's triad is basically fever, right upper quadrant pain, and what? Jaundice. Fever, why? Because there's an inflammation of this place, cholangitis. It is inflammation. Right upper quadrant pain because of the location of the gallbladder and the biliary tree. Jaundice because what? Bilirubin has been blocked also. That can cause jaundice. That is Charcot's triad. Now, the second phenomenon is called what? The Reynolds pentad. What is Reynolds pentad? Reynolds pentad equals Charcot's triad plus hypotension and what? Confusion. So as a bonus, there's what they call biliary dyskinesia. What is that? There's supposed to be a spasmic movement, a peristaltic movement when you have eaten something fatty and oily, because a substance called cholecystokinin gets released. When cholecystokinin gets released, it causes that peristaltic movement. Like I said, primary biliary dyskinesia. Dyskinesia means what? Disruption in kinetic, movement of something. So when the primary biliary dyskinesia, there is absence of peristaltic movements from beginning to the end. And when there is increased biliary dyskinesia around this ampulla of Vater and the sphincter of Oddi, it can cause what? further inflammation of the pancreas. What are you going to experience? Watery stool, problem with digesting fat, protein, carbohydrates. That is what we call primary biliary dyskinesia. I hope you have been able to understand the differences between cholelithiasis, cholecystitis, cholelithiasis, acute cholangitis, Charcot-Fried, and Raynaud's pentad. Stay medicated.